All right, continuing with our guessing. So givens and unknowns. Equation, we won't be rearranging the equation, but then know that we're going to use this to substitute and solve. So the information given to us, it says here that a ferry boat with an acceleration of 1.2 meters per second squared. Meters per second squared is right here. That is my acceleration. A is 1.2 meters per second squared. If it travels with a final velocity of 80 meters per second, final velocity, in a total of 40 seconds, what was the initial velocity when it first started? So that's our unknown, that's x. Again, acceleration, so it's still the same equation, but I'm going to use different colors to represent the different steps in solving for this, because now instead of a, we're going to write 1.2, and then you're going to have VF as 80 minus x for VI all over 40. And how do I calculate for this? It's very similar to when we were solving for DI. So I have to get rid of the bottom of the fraction. That's step number one. I always want to get rid of the bottom of the fraction. How do I do that? Well, if it's a fraction and you're dividing 40 into this, so then I'm going to multiply, and I'm using a dot just because I don't want you to get confused with the x. So multiply 40 to both sides. So that's 40 times 1.2. Put it in the calculator, 40 times 1.2. And then as soon as you get the answer, your answer should have been 48. 80 minus x. Because we have done nothing with that part of the fraction, you want to just bring it down. So the next part is, this is the number being subtracted by x. So it's a positive number, so I'm going to subtract 80 to both sides. So 48 minus 80 gives me negative 32, which is equal to negative x. Problem with having a negative x is that you have negatives on both sides. So technically there's a 1 in front of each of these, right? A negative 1 in front of the x. So if I divide the negative 1 over to both sides, then I can cancel the negative out. And now x is equal to 32, or in this case, it is the VI. This object started with a initial velocity of 32 meters per second.